What's up, casters? It's Ben back for another video, and today we are going to be opening up a couple Moonrise booster boxes and an Artemis starter deck from my Stellar Scarabix Champion of aDrive bundle. So this just came in not too long ago. So we got our Stellar Scarabix Champion of aDrive, number 31 out of 99. I absolutely love the new Stellar foil borders. I think these turned out really good. The printing on these is awesome, so I'm really excited for the new change in the stellar in the new stellars, because this will be the new how all the new stellars are with this new border. So this is really cool. I did go ahead and open up all of the Shattered Stars bundles and the blister packs of Moonrise that were in this. So I got a Blistrix, an Titan, and Tornigen out of the blisters. So that was really nice to hit hollows on all those. The Artemis, I believe this was Libra month. We got a Stained Glass Artemis, the Like a Void Champion of Artemis texture, and the Constellation Gambit. Not too bad. And then we got Bow of Artemis, Necrolith, and the Constellation Aphoros from the, I believe that was Pisces month. So we're going to open up both of our Moonrise booster boxes and the Artemis starter deck to make it a nice lunar opening today. The Daybreak box that was included in this went into the PC as I did not have a sealed Daybreak still, so I wanted to go ahead and put that away with the rest of the sealed collection for now. May open it eventually again now that Daybreak is on the buy one get one. So make sure you use code Chronodial at Shop Elestrals if you're looking to pick up some Daybreak and chase that Stellar Chronodial box topper. So let's see if we've got ourselves either the Stellar Fawnlet, which I know is probably going to get a lot more popular once the Awakened comes out, or I forget what the reverse in this was, honestly. So we got the Posthumous Champion of Artemis, and nothing there. I believe these were correct in that they should be the second card, but since it's a rune, I think this is Deadshot is the reverse in here. Lunar Phase, yeah, Deadshot. I think it would have been there if it was. So okay, nothing from the starter deck. Not too surprising. Starter decks aren't always the best to hit out of, but let's go ahead and open our 3 packs of Lifestream here. I'm looking for a handful, I think just a few of more of the reverse hollows from this set at this point, as I've got pretty much everything else. I mean, there's a couple full arts that I could probably stand to grab as well. Krakatuga Ampup, a reverse Leviathan, and an Aphrodite. Not bad. I just hit an Aphrodite, I think, in one of our, from the Awakened rewards. I got an Aphrodite out of one of the starter decks there too. Right, we got Zaptor. Move that Aphrodite off to the side. Fungide, Typhlant, Fawnlet, Abominursa, Barabog, Cracking, Gigaflora, Giraflora, reverse, and a Locagon. I have to look. That Giraflora might actually be one that I needed if I didn't pick it up recently. Leviathan, Foamy, Fungide, Typhlant, Funglow, Thyrsus, Guardian, Terrasail, Reverse Nomodile, and a Gambit. I haven't picked up a Gambit in a minute, so it's always nice with its bunch of printings. And I mean the regular Gambit, not the other Gambit that I did also just pull. Okay, so that was our little bit of live stream for this opening. Make sure to check out those binders later. Now let's get into the first box of Moonrise. It has been a while since I opened up an actual straight booster box of this set. I think mostly just pulling this you know, a couple packs here and there in the daily series. But I really have fun. I remember having fond memories of Moonrise when opening it originally. We've got a Super Dark Fulgorix as our box topper, not the Stellar, unfortunately. I will say 36 packs in these. I forgot how much this was once opening the box of Firestorm. I forgot just how much 36 packs really is, so doing 2 of these today is going to be a lot. So we will somewhat speed through these since Moonrise is old at this point, and we're really only looking for some full arts. I got quite a few full arts that I haven't gotten from this set, and really just looking for Stellars. I got a Scorpio. This will take me a while. I think won't do the sorting now. I'll probably do the sorting later for this. But I think it's nice that they did this new champion bundle now, as we're going to be getting Snowshade here soon, bringing back the lunar element. So this is kind of a nice little tie-in to re-release where the lunar element was first introduced in Moonrise. Zaptor, Carrion, Snowlet, Cockerate, Armadon, Luxamare, Cedarsaur, Cactobrum, Oystress. We got a Hollow Draking. Very nice. At this point, we have seen all of the new Hades and Athena cards that are coming to Snowshade. I just saw all the new full arts for the Athena. Not as many as the Hades package, but I think they are looking all really good. The Athena stuff seems to be really interesting, with being able to change battle positions and have a lot of different effects when Elestrals are changing positions. So I'm really interested to see what Athena does. I think there's going to be like a lot of different ways that you can take Athena, which is going to be really cool to see, because that kind of thing hasn't been explored. Nice Comalis. Hasn't been explored very well in Elestral so far. You know, we have things like Armadon that burns when it changes position. We've had like Joblin that can change positions. Some of the new, like the new Eddies and Curibus caring about position change. But we haven't had a full kind of divine centered around this. So I think it's a really cool thing to be doing. High Tide might be pretty good in that deck. New Moon, not a bad card. But yeah, so I think we're gonna see a lot of cool things out of Athena, and then I'm also really excited for Hades and the new Severed mechanic. I think being able to reuse your spirits as severed spirits, and kind of make them a little bit of token-esque kind of deck. I think it's going to be really cool to see what exactly we can do with that. And a Waxing Crescent. Alright, so not too many hits on this side of the box so far. We'll see what we can get. Cinder, Bellowbee, Schnark, Starbit, Electrifly, Theraheart, Lumbra, and a Torchin. I never pulled that many Torchin when I initially opened Moonrise. This little guy. I really love the Champion of Hestia Torchin. This guy, you know, is very niche right now, but he's a fun little torch. I always love when somebody's able to use Torchin in interesting ways, like putting a Tongs of Hephaestus on it, because he can really heal up a lot of spirits when you get in positions where he's attacking into small guys or defense position Elestrals, where he's doing it just to heal Aardvarem, and a Spoiled Fruit. Spoiled Fruit's definitely a card I wish was better. You know, it's always been kind of the side deck option, but I feel like it could be better if it had been designed a little bit to interact with not just healing from Spirit deck, because there are some cards that it would be really useful against, like the Hera stuff, but it doesn't do a thing into Hera. Night Venom, really excited for the new Night Venom Champion of Athena. I think that's going to be a really, really cool card. I really love Toxiri and Night Venom, so I'm glad that they're getting new forms, new champion forms for Athena. A Flurmine. Get a couple Lunar Phases, No Stone, Force Field, Werpup, Bandaloon, and a Carry Off. Nobby, Fawnlet, Voldusk. The mapping in these is fun sometimes. Cedarsaur, Cactobrim, Oistress, and a Pulveroar. Aloon, Havocub, Drakid, Porcuraith, Ardbud, Clovey, Electronite. Ooh, a full art Blistrix. Honey, this is not a full art I need, as I do already have. I've already pulled one of these. These used to go for quite a bit back in the day when Blistrix was super popular at Moonrise, but this is still a really good pull. I love it. Now, I love the card. I love the look of the card. I am not as much of a fan of Blistrix as a strategy, though. Blistrix has always been somewhat on the annoying side, if you ask me, but it is still a really good card. I do love the design of it. A Dragolas. I really like this. I wish I could have made the Champ Dragolas work more. Ares has just been a little bit of a struggle to work with. I know there's some people who have kind of got it, but it's just not fully a consistent play style. But I am glad to see that they kind of played off the Ares and Athena both doing Nexus stuff, but then doing different things, with the Ares being more powering up itself and its Elestrals, and then Athena being a little bit more strategical and having different effects and changing battle positions. I think the flavor-wise of that is super cool. I'm excited to see what we get. I don't know if we're getting Demeter or Apollo next in our reveals, so we'll have to see. I'm really excited to see what Demeter gets, as Demeter was the first divine I really liked back in Kickstarter in early days. Was definitely an Earthcaster at the beginning, so I'm really excited to see Demeter come back, as she hasn't gotten a ton of love throughout this entire Divine Champions block. You know, we've only had a couple champions of Demeter, so it's cool to see what will come back. And we've got our Hollow Spirit for the pack. Got the Terratlas. I think that unfortunately is one that I already have in this set, though. Back to Terratlas. I do like that now we have reverse hollows, because these are the only thing about these is always you're searching right for that hollow at the end there. Nice Artemis. So you don't really have anything to really look forward to until you get there. So Flip through. And a Necrolith. I think it's really cool to see Hades splash another color. I'm a little unsure how Necrolith is going to do with the new champion of Hades, being that he's frost and fire mainly, but then we're going to splash the lunar for the Necrolith. So that'll be interesting to see how that works. Guard on. But I do think that new Necrolith champion is going to be a lot better than original Necrolith. Which sucks because he's one of the highest attack stat liths, but really having 2 suppressed Elestrals on your opponent's field has never been super easy to then also have Necrolith in hand at the same time with a normal cast. Navi, Draco Ray, Bow, Lunar Face, and an End Titan. Always happy to get more End Titans. One of my favorite Elestrals. I'm actually really excited that the Toxiri and Night Venom are a part of Athena now, because I think there could be some really cool stuff to do with End Titan with some of these new Athena cards. Fulgorix. It's definitely a deck that I have not played a ton of recently because it's just really not that great into the current meta. But it would be great to see it be able to have a little bit of a comeback. A Starbit Supernova. Super fun. I keep meaning to... I need to build out the Aphrodite deck with the Starbit stuff. No, it's not really been something that has been played, especially in premieres, but I really want to have that just as kind of a fun little side deck to try to get all that to work. Bow, Lunar Phase, Posthumous. Ectopossum. The bad Ectopossum. And Zaptor, Snark, Starbit, Electrify, Windgen, Carrion, Cunning Offer, Helios, Doppelgator, and Torn Agent. Another Torn Agent here. This one really hurts that it to pull just because it's banned now, but I miss when Torn Agent was good, though it always felt bad. I always felt bad to get Windgen into Torn Agent, and I really feel like the Windgen was the worst card of that combo. Aviolith, nice card. Definitely one of the more underrated lists, but man, in some of these Hermes decks, especially like Trish's last list, Aviolith can do a lot of really good things, especially in these slower formats where opponents aren't afraid to set a bunch of back row, especially without Hurricane in there. Corvuscull. I feel like that card is looking to make a comeback. Just being able to exchange things in your graveyard with Foretelling, I think, can be really good, especially with some of their effects now. Cryptoris. But definitely let me know in the comments what decks you're looking at building out with what we've seen so far. A Hollow Blistrix and the upcoming set Snowshade. I think my first thing I'm going to be doing is working on Hades. As a mainly Frost caster, I really want to go to Hades, and that's a style of gameplay that I really like. I think there's a lot of cool things to do with it. Salashade and Mill coming back for Athena. I think that's going to be actually really dangerous. So I'm a little scared to see what that will be able to produce, because those mill cards seem a lot better than the previous. Even though I really like Cinder and Salashade, I don't think they're too bad, but they're not the best at the current moment. But with the new ones, I think we're in for a little bit of mill strategy sneaking into the meta here. Armadon, Luxmere, Lunarphase, Bandaloon, Aardvarm, and a Scorpio. Morfrost coming back. I really like the design of the Champion of Hades Draco form. I think it's really cool that it is just a new form, but it is specifically a Champion of Hades. I think that's a really cool kind of design thing. I wish we got a little bit more kind of lore in these Elestrals cards. I know once we get to Awakened, like, we're going to get a little bit more game lore with stuff, but it would be cool to kind of flesh out a little bit more lore behind, like, the decisions that are going on with, like, who gets champions and why. But I think it's cool that, like, Hades does the Morfrost stuff, but he makes his own personal Morfrost. And Aosdale. Alright, so let's do a quick recap on box number 1. We got a Blistrix, Aviolith, Tornigen, Starbit Supernova, and Titan. Let's see if we get these. There we go. Necrolith, Artemis, Hollow Terratlas, Dragolus, our full art Blistrix, Carryoff, Torchin, Comalus, and Draking. Right. Now, is there a Stellar here in box number 2? I've only ever pulled 2 Stellars from Moonrise. I've got my X out of 99 Ardbud, which actually, no, I've only ever pulled 1 because I didn't pull that one. I bought that one. But it is one of my favorite cards. And then the Belobeat, which I pulled, but I have traded that to a buddy. And another Fulgorix. Pulled a lot of Fulgorix as the box toppers from this set. I know I've pulled all of them, but I think I've only ever pulled like maybe one of the Volclips. And I feel like I've pulled a lot of Fulgorix and Posthumous from the set. I'd love to be able to get the Titan as our full art from this box. We've got a hollow Volclips, speaking of him. I think we got new Lunar Phase Lunar Eclipse revealed, and I think it's very interesting now that we're getting a stadium that can be special cast from the Underworld, I believe. I know it plays with New Moon as well, but I have to double check the exact thing. But I know it's a lunar and a solar stadium rune. So I think it's really interesting. I'm not sure exactly how that's gonna play out, like what kind of deck you're gonna play it in, because it's lunar face support, of course. So Volclips always gets a little bit of extra support by getting more lunar phases, so you can meet your requirement and not be playing the original 8. You can play a better combination of cards. But I'm not too sure how it's going to play out. But let me know if you have a strategy already in mind for the new lunar eclipse or solar eclipse, whichever it is. A Phasmocore. Glad to see that this card's getting a new champion form as well. As I really wish the original Phasmocore was better, but with cards in the game now like Rise from the Shadows, it does a Phasmocore job much better than Phasmocore does itself. Plus, at the time, being a 1 defense was not really good. As we saw that with Tornadin, that was one of Tornadin's downfalls was being able to be hit by the hit by a cryoblast super easy. Comalis there for our last pull. Comalis looking really good with its new Champion of Athena as well. I think you're going to see a lot of Athena decks playing 3 base Comalis and 3 new Comalis, as they both are like super strong, nexusing, searching. You've got a lot of spectral Elestrals in the Athena package, so you're going to be able to search out a lot of your deck with base Comalis and then the new Comalis. While I can't remember its exact effect, I know it's pretty good, looking to be pretty good. A full Gorix. Fulgorix is also a card might be able to see a little bit of comeback in with the Athena stuff, as with all the nexusing and back row, I think you're going to be able to have like a void. Good pull. I think you're going to be able to have a lot more 3-drops with the Athena line, which is a little bit scary because you don't want to. We don't really want a turbo format where we're getting to too many towers, especially when one element's able to do it a lot better than others, and they just sit on turbo 3-drops, especially with back row protection. So a little curious how to see how the balance is going to be here with Athena versus the rest of things, but I think I'll trust in the team that the design was scaled back in terms of that. And I think a lot of the Athena stuff, there's good effects on your 1 and 2 drops that you want to actually sit on those guys rather than turboing into a 3-drop anymore. So we'll see how it goes. Another Necrolith. But speaking of 3-drops, I love the design of the new Dimension Champion of Athena. I think that one is super cool. It's nice to see the expansion of the Drataya, Latagon, Nexus forms, as I believe that is the line that has the most Nexus forms, having Drataya, Latagon, Dratagua, Lakagon, Dratora, Lustragon, and now Dratumbra and Loragon, and then giving the 3-drop Ascension to Athena in Dimension Champion of Athena. I think that's really cool. It's also the first, I believe it's the first of officially released Elestrals. Yeah, it should be the first of officially released Elestrals to get the champion treatment without having just a base version, another Jiraking, without having a base version already introduced into the game. So I think the first one that would technically, that would have been revealed would have been the Levatal Champion of Shading Penguin, but since that is technically a creator card, that doesn't really count since it's not in the set or in a set yet. I do think we'll eventually see a Levatal, another Tornagian. The actual Levatal show up at some point. I'd love to see it in this Snowshade set. I think that would be really cool, but I don't know if we're going to see it yet, or maybe we'll see it come, say, set 9. If they maybe try to tie into Awakened a little bit after this or not. See what we can get. We got there we go. That's a nice pull. We got a reverse stellar waxing crescent. That's nice. I do think this is not one that's very playable on the lunar phase side of things, but this is nice. This is my second of the reverse stellar lunar phases that I've pulled. Just got one a few days ago in our short series. So this is really nice to be able to pull. Let's grab a sleeve here. Set that one by itself. Well, that was a really nice pack. That's the first ever reverse stellar I've pulled out of a booster box of Moonrise. It's been a long time waiting for that. And then Fornax. The reverse stellars in this set, I believe they were all the lunar phases, and then just the Voldusk, I believe, was the other reverse stellar in this set. Which I'm still not sure whether I really liked that, to make them all lunar phases, and so they were all just specifically based into one deck that really was not a super playable deck. But I think they had really good designs. Like they look really nice, but I wish they would have done more reverse stellar Elestrals instead of all lunar phases getting reverse stellars, especially given that it was really only full moon, which the full moon and then new moon were probably the only two that you really wanted. And Titan. It's funny how I've pulled some of these hollows that I never pulled that many of when Moonrise released. Like, and Titan was one that I think I only ever got one copy of it, even though it was one of my favorite decks. But I only ever pulled one copy and had to trade for a second copy of it so I could test out multiple Titan strategies. But now I'm loaded up on them, which is good. Alright, we are a little under halfway through this box. Sprout, Pulveror. I've been trying out some more lunar Dionysus stuff with the Pulveror and Havocub champions. Those are really fun, and I think, taking a little bit more advantage of the Daze and Enrage stuff is good for the game. I think that's really cool with the new champion Toxiri for Athena, that we're still adding some Enrage mechanics in here, as it's never been implemented the best, I think. Like, it's nice with the Drataya and Latagon. Like, you've got a little bit of reason, but you never had the greatest reasons to enrage your opponent's Elestrals very much. Like, it's a cool little battle trick when you can get it, but it's not always the best. Like, dazing to me has always been a lot better. But I think with the new Toxiri champion, being able to enrage your opponent's Elestrals. Oh, so we got a card here. I think this will be our Hollow Spirit for the box in this pack. 3, and it's a Illuminate. Very nice. But being able to enrage your opponent's Elestrals, and then be a really defensive body with a 5 stat, force your opponent to attack into you to do some burn damage. I think that's really, really interesting. And, it makes your opponent have to play around that. If they don't want to burn those spirits, they'll need to try to find a way that they can't attack. Ascend those Elestrals, pay off of them for other things. Throwing packs around. Let's hope that's not a stellar in there. But definitely some new strategy to be had with Athena. And Aviolith is our rare. Still looking for our full art out of this box. Just hoping it's not a duplicate of something I have. I would love the Tornagian one, except for the fact that it is only for collection. And, oh, there it is. Oh, awesome. Tsunami. I had not gotten the full art runes yet. And I definitely wasn't one that I wanted to purchase them. But this is awesome. That's a great pickup for the collection. as well as putting into a deck, possibly, even though I do really like the Awakened. I'm a big fan of the Awakened full arts from the promo packs. Those are awesome, and they might be my standard one now that I've got a few copies of those. All right. So now we're really just searching to see if we can get a Stellar in this box. 6 packs remaining. So we've probably got a few more hollows, and hopefully, fingers crossed, might get a Stellar in here. But since we got the reverse, I'm not too sure if we'll be seeing one. Another Starbit Supernova. This set did have a lot of really good Stellars. Again, Ardbud, probably my favorite one. But I know both of the Starbits, both Starbit and Starbit Supernova, both of those with the black coloration, super cool. I honestly thought the Bellowbee one is actually really nice. Just at the time when I traded it, wasn't very playable, so, and I wasn't using it, so better with somebody else than with me, and help me pick up some nice cards for my collection. We've got an Aosdale, 2 packs left. We've got a Posthumous and a Fulgorix. Let's see if we can get anything out of these last 2 packs. We've got a Salashade. All right, 1 pack left. One last chance for a Stellar. Let's get some last pack magic here to at least make it a hollow to end it off at least. Zaptor, Temple. Let's get that in focus on the last pack. Try. Alright. Magnetic, Nobby, Fawnlet, Helios Slumber, Doppelganger Thera, and a Lunar Phase New Moon to wrap it up. Alright. Our second of the 2 boxes. Recap real quick. And a Starbit Supernova, Aviolith, Hololuminape, Tornadin, Draking, Torchin, and Titan, Carryoff, Necrolith, Lycavoid, Comalis, Phasmacore, Volclips, a Full Art Tsunami, and our Lunar Phase Waxing Crescent Reverse Stellar. Really nice opening. Really happy with those pulls. Some really good cards to be able to add to the collection. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you back in the next one.